And over the years, maybe like 2-3 years later, I'm going to open houses. Now they in the 4s. Now they in the 5s.
Right. The price just continues to jump up.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, we pay this and that. And I didn't really understand what equity was, but I started to. Like I said, Selena was kind of the basis of all that. And Selena lived across the street. Like,
Wow.
not across the street, but across. She lived in the Upper Ladera. So we would walk to her house, and me and her would walk up the hills.
Just go look at the houses.
Just looking at houses. Just so
see what's
yeah.
on the market.
So yeah, like I said, and now I work for Selena's brokerage.
It's crazy how that came like full circle.
Yeah,
right?
It is, and like Selena's like a second mom to me. So if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't. I'm sure I probably wouldn't.
Got it. Well, I definitely wanted to get into income property. I wanted to know more about how did you go about buying your first income property?
Ooh, that's another crazy.
Give us the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna give you guys what I can. So, my dad's family, they came here from Louisiana. And when they came here from Louisiana, their grandmother was already living here, and she built 2 units behind her house for them to live in. So, and that was at the 60s, maybe 70s. So, that's how that property became, or we had a family property. That's how it became income property.
right.
And this property was passed down about 3 times.
Okay.
The last person to own it was my uncle Keith, which is my dad's twin. So I had watched him kind of maintain the property. He really wasn't into it. Like he did it, but he really wasn't really into real estate like that.
Got it.
So I would kind of have this, and listen to everybody else. So pretty much all of our family stayed there.
Okay.
It wasn't like a business. It was more like
grandma's house.
Yeah, somebody needs somewhere to stay. Okay, you can stay back here. Rent gonna be cheap. Blah blah blah.
Got it.
So my uncle ended up getting pancreatic cancer, and he ended up passing away. It's 2016, I believe. 2016. So his daughter was living in the front house, one of the units, and she ended up pretty much taking it over from him. And my dad owned a small portion of it as well. So she was ready to go back to the East Coast, do her thing. She was from the East Coast. So she asked me to list it. This was my first year as a real estate agent. So she asked me to list it. I was extremely nervous because, it's the family house. Everybody got something to say. I had to go. But
you took it as an opportunity.
Yeah, I took it as an opportunity to further my career and, take care of my cousin, like my uncle would always want to. So, we showed the property for some people. Been on the market for maybe like 2 months. We got a little bit of interest. There were a lot of low balls from investors because the property, it needed work. Like I said, my uncle really wasn't into real estate like that.
He did enough to maintain it.
Exactly. He did enough for everything just to work, pretty much.
Okay.
So I started kind of just paying attention to things. I'm like, you know what? I was looking at my finances. Like, I think, first of all, I started looking at rents. Looking at rents in the area. And I was like, I think I can do this. And that's when I came to you. And I said, you want to go? And she said, yeah. So after that, I talked to a lender, and talking to the lender was like the kind of the scariest part because I have people to tell me I can't afford something, I can't buy it.
Right.
So,
because if you're gonna bet on anybody, you're gonna bet on yourself.
Exactly. So now I'm getting the verbiage, the debt service, telling me how much the rent's got to be for me to qualify. I'm getting other options. I can do a adjustable an adjustable rate loan for a second,
Mm-hmm.
just to get in. So it's all these kind of things going on. I can get a gift of equity because the property partly belongs to my father, and we all share the same last name.
That's interesting.
So finally we did it. We agreed to a price.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time I was wanting to make sure that that the price was fair to everybody.
Right.
So I kind of went over. Well, we kind of went over and beyond, and we kind of paid a little more than we should have for the property at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more about the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought the property. We closed in January 2017.
We actually closed on your birthday.
We closed the day before my birthday.
Yeah, day before your birthday.
Over my 29th birthday. So I had all kind of emotions talking to contractors and everything. It was a great time, but I was nervous. We put our last dime into that place.
Yeah, and I come from a different background, so pretty much everybody in my family lived in an apartment. So I grew up in Hawthorne in an apartment. My grandmother had a house. I didn't find out till later on that she was renting that house. I always thought, my grandma owned this house. But as I got older, I realized there's not a lot of people in my house, in my family that are homeowners. So this was a total new experience for me, But again, I trusted your judgment, right? I knew if you say, hey, babe, this is a good buy, let's do it. I'm all in, and I'm willing to learn. And I just appreciate that aspect of it. You willing to pour into me and answer 1,000,001 questions, because I'm asking, a bunch of questions because I don't understand. I don't understand the market. I don't understand the logistics of being a homeowner, what goes into buying it. Like, this is all brand new to me. So, although it was a great, accomplishment, not only for us, but for your family, it was a learning experience. And so I don't know about you, but going in, we knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but it was one of those things, we got to get it done. Let's do it. Like I said, if you're going to bet on anybody, bet on yourself. So I appreciate that.